Good afternoon, and welcome to the first of what's going to be a series of webinars. These webinars are designed to give education on credit. There's not a lot out there, and one of our goals is to help educate people on the world of personal and business credit. We're going to be doing these in small bites. Long webinars don't do well for me. I've been on them, lose interest. So I want to keep these short and sweet, keep them on topic each week. And hopefully you'll all gain something out of this. For those of you who don't know who we are, Best Credit RX. We are a national business. We work on personal consumer credit. We also work with businesses on business credit. And I'll get more into that as we move forward. Today's webinar is going to focus on, we all hear about these FICO scores, free FICO score, FICO. This is all you hear. What exactly is that? Who are they? How do they come up with that number? And what does it mean to you? How do you interpret this? The other thing we'll talk about briefly is fraud. As I'm seeing this on a weekly basis, it's an important topic. And at the end, it's Halloween. I have a treat for everybody. So with that, we're going to jump right in. You'll notice on your screen, there should be a little dialog box. Any questions, comments, just go ahead and type that in. If I don't answer it right away, I will most certainly answer everything at the end. We'll do an open question and answer should anybody have. So without further ado, let's move in to the presentation. So who exactly is FICO? FICO, as you can see, founded in 1956, Fair Isaac and Company, by two men, Bill Fair and Earl Isaac. Within 2 years, they came up with this credit scoring system. And their first general purpose score started in 1989 when what's known as the Beacon score debuted at Equifax. So sometimes when you look at a credit report, and specifically Equifax, you'll see Beacon. That is a FICO product, okay? Just a little side note, originally called Fair Isaac and Company, renamed Fair Isaac Corporation in 2003, changed its name and ticker symbol in 2009 to what it is known as FICO, FICO. So let's start with in getting into how do they come up with a credit score, let's talk about who is required to report to the credit bureaus, because ultimately what's on the credit report is what's going to generate that FICO score. So who is required to report to the credit bureaus? Absolutely no one. There is no law that requires a company to report. They choose to do so. They have to pay. The credit bureaus are making money coming and going. So they may report to all three. The three major bureaus are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. They may report to just one. They may report to two. When you're getting credit card, for example, always ask, do you report to all three credit bureaus? That's an important question. If no, do some more shopping. You want to report to all three, and we'll get into why. Another question that comes up, so I threw it in here, is the credit bureau's contracts that they have with companies that report to them have pretty much forbidden the pay for deletion, where you would contact your creditor, you would pay something that's in collections, and they would agree to totally remove it. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is a good thing for all of us, requires accurate, verifiable, and timely information to be reported. So once it's in collections, it's in collections. If you pay the collection, it's a nominal effect on your credit score. The trade line, that account is going to stay on your credit report for 7 years from the date of first delinquency with your original creditor. And next week when we talk about how to read your credit reports, we'll go into that a little more detail as well. I'm going to drill down into this. I just like the graphic. I'll hold it up here if anybody wants to, save that screen. But the next slide is going to break this down more specifically. And again, this is being recorded, and this PowerPoint will be up on the website for anybody to review at their pleasure. So here's the breakdown for a FICO score, that number. 35% of your score is payment history, meaning what's your record for paying on your credit? Pay on time? How many late pays? Just what it sounds like, payment history. On revolving credit, which is your typical credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, they're going to go back 24 months history. On installment credit, car loan, mortgage, secured loans, they're going to report the entire history of that loan. 30% is amount owed and also credit utilization, or known as debt to limit ratio. This is one area where people can help themselves. Basically, let's say, to keep this a simple example, you have a credit card, you have a Visa card, a Target card, a Walmart card, whatever. And let's just say you have $1,000 credit limit. Now you can use all of that credit limit. You can go up to $1,000. And as long as you pay the minimum payment on time each month, well, that's great. You know, they're going to love you. It's going to report okay. You do need, again, payment history to be paying on time. But your utilization of that credit, you're using too much of it. And it affects that debt to limit ratio. So one big area where you can help yourself if you're trying to boost your credit score is pay down your credit card balances. Rule of thumb is 20% of the balance, of the limit. 20% of that credit limit, okay? If you really need to squeeze out more points, go under 10%. If you're still a handful of points, put $5 on that thing every month. Another important thing to know is when you pay it down, keep it down all month. Some people, common mistake that I see, someone will go out and they'll charge up their credit card, and then a few days later they get paid and they pay it down. Well, the problem is we don't know, and you don't know what day that snapshot of your account is being taken and sent to the credit bureaus. So when you're looking at a major purchase, you're looking at getting your score up, you want to, for 30, 60 days before you have that lender pull your credit report, have that down there, okay? Another mistake, 15% length of credit history. A lot of people close accounts. You have a Macy's card, you don't shop at Macy's, you don't use it, then you close it. Or you have a major credit card, and people kind of fear credit, so they're not, they don't want to have it, they close it. Keep them open. Keep those accounts open, and once in a while, use them. Even if it's to go to Target, buy a pair of socks, pay it off in full every several months, put the card in your drawer so you're not tempted to use it, safe deposit box, because credit history is 15% of the score, and these things make a difference. 10% new credit. So this is where the inquiries come in. A lot of confusion on inquiries, soft versus hard. You need to be concerned with what's known as a hard inquiry. Hard inquiries are cumulative over 24 months. Too many hard inquiries indicates that you are shopping around for credit pretty hard. That's going to concern lenders, and it is going to ding you for 10%. A note on hard inquiries, I put up the words permissible purpose. That's the legal term. These are inquiries where you have signed a document or you've given an electronic signature. You have given permission, permissible purpose, for your credit to be checked. Okay? And a word of caution here, when you're shopping for a major purchase, especially for cars, you're out there and you have fair to okay credit. What they're going to do is you're going to sign that document. They're going to shop you around to a whole bunch of sources. I've seen as many as 23 at one time. And you've signed that document. They can do it. Unless you specify in writing on that document, don't check more than 3. You do not have my permission to do more than 3. They will do that. Now, the good news is if you buy a car within 30 days, it'll only count as 1. But if you don't, every one of those is going to stick. Finally, 10% mix of credit. So we have 2 types of credit, as mentioned. Installment. That's when you're given a set dollar amount, and you pay it down until it's 0. Account paid, closed. Auto loan, some type of loan, mortgage. versus revolving, which is, a credit card. You're given a line of credit. It's never going to go away. It's always going to be there as long as you're paying it and they don't close you. And you're making your payments each month. You'll continue to have that line of credit. Here's where it gets interesting. How do they come up with that number? Well, that's tricky. There are at least 50 different FICO scores in use right now. Now, some are specific to an industry, automotives, mortgage, for example. So the score that your auto dealer's pulling is not going to be the score that your mortgage person's pulling. It's a different FICO scoring algorithm. And within the mortgage industry, and jumping down to what's the reality of FICO 09 that has been in the news, and they've all been harping on FICO 09 and medicals won't count as much and all this stuff. Here's the bad news. They're not using FICO 09. In fact, they're not using FICO 08. Every credit report I've seen from major lenders are using FICO 04, FICO 05, Beacon 2. So fact of the matter is, I don't think FICO 09 is going to be accepted. They've already said they're not accepting it. They're analyzing it. They didn't take FICO 08. I don't see them taking FICO 09. Okay. So how do you know what scores you're getting when you go to these different websites and you get your free scores, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion? Well, you really don't. They're supposed to mirror what a mortgage lender is going to pull, but nobody knows exactly what the lender is going to pull. So it gives us a good idea of where you're at. Obviously, if that score is going up, your other scores are going to be going up. But it's really whatever that lender has decided they're going to use. Okay. To make this even more confusing, let's say they're using FICO 4. There are scorecards within each category. So within FICO 4, there are different scorecards. It's not just one simple algorithm. As your credit, what they do is they group people with like credit reports, similar situations together. So somebody who's maybe had a bankruptcy 4 years ago, that person is going to be grouped with other people and their score is going to kind of kick out a little different. Somebody who has, 5 items in collections, it's going to be different. Somebody who has never had an installment loan or they don't have revolving credit, it's going to be different. That's a closely held secret. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell anybody that. That's been unearthed through dealing with insiders inside the credit bureaus who have revealed that information. Free credit scores. So here's the reality check. And this is what annoys me. I think it's deceptive advertising. Everybody's screaming free credit score. I have people call me all the time. Hey, my bank gave me my credit score. It's this. Well, what are the other two? I don't know. The stuff they sing and dance about on TV, every free credits, they're only giving you one. You have to have all 3. Why all 3? Because lenders look at all 3. They're going to drop the high, they're going to drop the low, and then to go with the middle score. So you have to have all 3. I mentioned Innovis here. Who are they? They're another credit bureau. They're gaining some traction, mainly with credit cards. Here's the cool thing with Innovis. Go to that website. Let's see if I can copy and paste that into the chat box for you so it's there. Go to their website and simply fill out the form. No, I couldn't do it. Figures, right? Well, it's here. Innovis.com. And they will mail you a free credit report. Okay? So how do you get your 3 credit scores and credit reports for all 3 bureaus? I'm going to get to that. Another score you're going to hear about, the credit bureaus are trying to push, is the Vantage score. Credit bureaus are an $8 billion a year industry, and they want to make more money. So they're trying to ram this score down people's throats. It's gaining some traction, but FICO continues to be the industry standard. So if you see Vantage, that's what that's about. Free credit reports. By federal law, you are entitled to once a year receive a free credit report not scores, mind you, report from all three bureaus. There is one place to go for this only, annualcreditreport.com. That's it. All these people that are singing and dancing about free credit report, no. The only one ordered and set up by the United States government is annualcreditreport.com. It's free. Do this once a year. You won't have your scores, but you'll have your reports. It will cost you nothing. I will say the reports are lengthy, have a lot of paper, have a full thing of ink for your printer. And you need to look at that report and recognize everything on it. And again, next webinar is going to be how to do that. And we're going to talk a little bit about fraud, credit monitoring. Every week, this gets buried behind the Ebola headlines and all, what Putin's doing in Russia and whatever, two-headed horses born. Every week a company is hacked into. Every week. Dig down into the new headlines. Here's the short list. And honestly, this is short. Go ahead and Google how many. I mean, I could have filled out the whole slide. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Target, eBay, JP Morgan Chase, the state of South Carolina, all that tax information, Facebook, Apple, Yahoo. So these companies and states will offer a year of credit monitoring if you sign up. They'll pay for it for a year. Well, guess what? The bad guys know that. So they're going to wait a year. They'll wait a year, and then they're going to use your information. Now, if they've replaced the credit card, you're assuming all they have is that credit card number. Well, that application that you put in had your social security number, had your address. The state of South Carolina, it was income tax forms. They got everything. My own daughter, a resident of South Carolina, was affected by this. South Carolina said we'll cover 1 year. She's going to need credit monitoring for the rest of her life. Her stuff's out there. Her social, her name, her date of birth. Anybody can try and falsify her identity. So, strong suggestion. Use whoever you want, but I've been negotiating a long time to get a great deal for our clients and our friends. Your typical websites, they might give you a free credit report one time, or they'll charge you $1, but then after that, it's going to be $25 to $35 a month for them to just do monitoring. Some of them, the $35 ones, will give you a monthly report and scores. The $25 ones, they'll charge extra when you want that. So what do we have for you? And I know this is a long link. It will be on the website. I will figure out how to do that this afternoon. Because you're going to have to use this link. You can't just go to Identity IQ. It's got to have all this stuff here for you to get this pricing. Okay? We've negotiated with Identity IQ. And folks, I don't recommend anything unless I've kicked the tires, I've used it, and I've seen that this is a good thing for people. So why am I recommending this? Use the link on that last slide. You're going to get a fresh credit report and scores monthly for all three bureaus every month. Credit monitoring and email alerts. Anytime there's a change to your credit, you're going to get a little thing come up. My daughter calls me all the time. She's at college. She says, Dad, I just got this alert that says that my credit's changed. I said, okay, let's take a look. What is it? Well, it turned out, she had charged a couple things, and it's going to let you know, hey, your balance has changed. If there's an inquiry, it's going to come up, hey, there's been an inquiry. Now, if you didn't ask for that, that's a problem. Fraud alerts and assistance, any funny business, all of a sudden a large charge on your card, or a charge comes from Spain. They're going to contact you and say, hey, is this you? Is it cool? And then they're going to help you resolve the problem. And here's the neat thing. If your ID gets out, I lost my wallet a couple weeks ago. All of my stuff is out there right now. And while you can cancel everything, social security number and other things, I broke my own rule. I tell everybody, do not carry your social security number card with you. And sure enough, I broke my own rule. So now I have this. If I'm a victim of fraud, you're a victim of fraud, you're covered up to $1 million and up to $500 per week for up to 4 weeks wages lost while resolving a stolen identity crisis. This here's worth its weight. There's more. Back to my lost wallet form. That would have been awful nice to have. All account numbers, all information, all detail, instead of having to scrounge around and find that stuff. Opt out of junk mail, place on do not call list. And here's something that nobody else is doing. Checking account report. Check systems will be monitored. And any reports to them, and this is all confidential, NSFs, overdrawn accounts, suspicious activities, you will be contacted. A lot of people don't know this stuff doesn't necessarily come up on your credit report. This stuff will come and surprise you one day when you go to write a check somewhere and they say, nope, can't take it. And what happened? And then you have to jump through a whole lot of hoops. This is going to help you. How much? It's $19.99 a month. No contract. Less than $5 a week. I know that I burn through $5 a week on things I don't need. I really recommend you do this. If you don't want to go with this, go with someone else, but definitely get yourself aligned with some company that will do credit monitoring, give you the credit reports monthly with your scores. It's more important than ever now because everything's out there. Too much is out there. We do a lot of credit education on our Facebook page. If you have Facebook, like us, I try to put a tidbit out there, credit education daily or every other day. You can scroll through some of the old things. Share the posts. You see something information, hit share and let it get on your page. People don't want to talk about if they have a credit issue. It's embarrassing. They don't tell their best friends. They don't tell their family. You might have a friend out there that, they might not say anything, but they'll read that and say, oh, wow, I just learned something. Or, let me contact these folks and talk to them. Free information, knowledge is power. Our website has a blog page, lots of stuff up there. And of course, advice here is always free. I get phone calls all week long. I don't charge to give someone advice. If it's something I can help you with, I'll help you with. We don't employ any salespeople here. No one's going to try and sell you. Okay. I'm going to shoot for every Friday. I'll put the information out on the Facebook page. I will send it out through the general email, like the newsletter that came out this morning. Friday after Thanksgiving, not happening. I like to take that day off. But watch for that link. Moving forward, I'll include the topic. Next week's topic will be how to read that credit report. If you have not yet, please email me with your email address to get our free monthly newsletter. It's free. There might be something on it, you learn something, or you just hit delete. If you're on Facebook, look to the left of the page. There's a picture of a little envelope. Just click on that. You can sign up yourself. Again, you get something out of it, fantastic. If you don't, you hit delete. Won't hurt my feelings. We're just trying to help. Open for any questions. Okay. Shy group today, no questions, or I did a really good job. Best Credit RX, a little about us. We warranty our service. If we do not increase your score, we'll either stick around until we do, or we'll refund your money. I will tell you, I have never had to do that, and I don't plan on starting. We do a good job. Personal credit and business credit. Future webinars, we're going to talk about business credit. That doesn't mean you have to wait for the future webinar. If you have a business or know someone who has a business, and you're having to put your social security number down to get credit or funding for it, we need to talk. We need to talk. You do not have true business credit. We're here to help people from all walks of life without judgment. We do not discriminate. We are here to help people. We're not a company that just sends out template letters to credit bureaus. We do everything that can legally be done to get you results. And we come through time and again. So here's my treat. You attended this webinar. You want to, first of all, calling in and reviewing your credit reports and consultation. There's never a charge for that. If you want to work with us, mention the orange offer, and I will take 15% off the entire package, whichever package makes sense for you. That's the largest discount we'd ever offered, folks. So that's special out there for you. Just mention the orange offer. You can even tell friends about it. How am I going to know if they attend or not? I'm going to put up my contact information for a moment. My email, our phone number. Realize people work. I take plenty of calls evenings, Saturdays. If you get the voicemail, just leave a message. I will call you back. Our fax number, and of course, our website, bestcreditrx.com. And again, everything will be up on that website hopefully today. Our next webinar, again, next Friday. We'll shoot for the same time, 1 o'clock Eastern. Watch Facebook. Email me that week for the link call-in information if you like. We're going to talk about how to read a credit report. I'll put some sample credit reports up. We'll go through some of that stuff together. Should be a lot of information. Again, I try to keep these to about 30 minutes. I've learned through my experience more than that. I glaze over. I lose attention. So I want to keep these in digestible bites. I thank you for your time. Available anytime for questions. Just pick up the phone and call. Shoot me an email. Advice is always free. We're here to help. I thank you. Have a happy Halloween and a safe Halloween, and look forward to next week. Thanks again for your time. Hope you all have a great weekend.